We got breaking news in the NFL where the Indianapolis Colts will be starting quarterback Anthony Richardson this week against the New York Jets. Richardson takes his starting job back from the veteran and Joe Flacco, who went 0-2 as a starter with losses against the Vikings and the Bills. The Colts have lost 3 straight overall, putting them at 4-6, and surprisingly, they're still maybe in that hunt when it comes to the AFC, 2 games behind the Texans in that AFC South. Taking a look at it, when you talk about the numbers here of QB1 between the two of Richardson. Lowest completion percentage in the season. Maybe part of the reason why he got benched the first time, but of course, take a look at it. Since 2000, Achilles Smith there, 44.2. Richardson right behind him by 0.2%. Ugh. Want to bring in our Pete Prisco, who's been watching this as well. And Pete, when you talk about it, he gets a job back, mainly because Joe has not played well. But your thoughts on this move?
By the way, that graphic's like a who's who on how not to play the position. I mean,
your buddy Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, he couldn't pass a lick either. So when you're under 50% completion percentage, it's a problem. But this is the right move. And the reason it's the right move is because they're basically out of it. You know what you have in Joe Flacco, a veteran quarterback who can get hot. We saw last week he wasn't very hot. He was terrible, in fact. It's the right move. You have to find out what you have in Anthony Richardson. You drafted him high in the first round for a reason. Now let him go out there, find out if he can play. If you go through the rest of the season and he can't play, then you have the antenna up and you might have a problem.
We're not that far removed from when he said he just needed to come out to take a break from that play. But what do you need to see this second time around starting from him? Maybe some growth.
Quit holding the ball. That's one thing. Quit bailing on clean pockets. That's another thing. And don't always go for the home run. It's okay to take a single and a double. You have to be able to check it down in the NFL. And we know he has the big arm. We know he's athletic. That's all part of who he is and who he was coming out of college. Now you have to get him to play quarterback. And by that I mean, you know, don't always take the deep shot. He's good on the deep balls. I mean, he hits those shots. You have to be able to hit the intermediate stuff. You have to be able to go through your progressions. If you can't go through your progressions and then you go one and get out, that's always going to be a problem.
By the way, again, they're 4-6 in the AFC, right behind the Texans in terms of them making a postseason, him being a leader. Is that possible, what you're expecting from Richardson?
Well, they still have a chance to make the playoffs as a wild card. I think the bottom of the AFC, the team that makes the wild card, is not going to have a great record and not going to be a great team, so they still have a chance. They're not winning the division. I think that ship has sailed, even though the Texans haven't played very well. But this is basically an elimination game for them against the Jets. I think the winner of that kind of stays alive. The loser kind of moves on. But you look at that schedule, there are some games on there that are winnable. But again, I don't think this is a great football team. I think this is more about the future than it is about the now.
Real quickly, Shane Steichen, how do you think he's juggled this between Joe and Anthony, this whole QB carousel a little bit?
Well, they had to make the move to try and jumpstart the offense and try and get this team going. They thought they were in the playoff chase. So I understand the decision. You go to Joe Flacco. Probably guys in the locker room wanted to go to Joe Flacco. Then they see Joe Flacco and they say, hey, maybe it's not a bad idea to go back to Anthony Richardson. So it's a smart move. Look, the heat is on. I don't think it's on Shane Steichen. It might be on the general manager, Chris Ballard. This is a team that hasn't won a division in a long time, and everybody else has won it in recent years. So they have to start winning games and winning divisions.
The Titans have taken over that division. We'll see what happens with Anthony Richardson, now the starter this Sunday. He's Pete Prisco. Of course, we'll see how that pans out for both sides there. Hey, don't forget, when it comes to NFL today, the fellas are on the road in Buffalo. JB and the crew, the Chiefs and Bills at noon. You can catch them there on Sunday at Highmark Stadium. Maybe somebody breaks a table or two.